Hey, guys, we're here at the locker room. Toxic Ring Scandal here. We'll talk about Seth Rollins correct about Hulk Hogan. He speaks the truth on Hulk Hogan. You guys get the likes as we come into the locker room. And, of course, as usual, we going to air some dirty laundry. Seth Rollins, he went on a podcast called Good Morning Football. Now, he gave Hulk Hogan his credit for him being interested in wrestling and getting him into the business. But he said that he is not a fan of what Hulk Hogan's done in the past and said he deserved the boos that he got. He said Hulk Hogan has to take a responsibility for his mistakes. He said, and I quote, "I'm all for people getting what they deserve." And he thinks that Hogan, if he was booed by the masses, there's a reason for it. And he said, I don't know if Hulk fully understands the scope, but people get what they deserve. He said he's happy to see that. I love to see it. Now, we know that Hulk Hogan's been booed since back in January, Raw Netflix debut on January 6th episode. And he was not graciously approached well by fans back in California. We know that they definitely booed him for that. They got on him. And it was so bad that it made waves for weeks and weeks and weeks. Pat McAfee went on his podcast. I talked about that. They made statements. Hulk Hogan even thought that he should even went on there to begin with. And WWE officials knew that Hulk Hogan would get booed prior to going on that show because they are not kind of what Hulk Hogan said in the past. Now, Seth Rollins, like I said, I'm not saying Hogan's right for making racist comments any way, shape, or form. But we're going to see what Seth Rollins said right here in this interview.
You mentioned WrestleMania, a guy who's headlined WrestleMania so many times over. Seth, what was your thoughts on Hulk Hogan getting booed like crazy on Netflix?
I am all for people getting what they deserve. That's how I feel about Hulk Hogan getting booed on. If you are getting booed by the masses, there's a reason for it, all right? So I don't know if Hulk fully understands the scope, but people get what they deserve. So I'm happy to see it. I love to see it. And look, I said this before about the Hulkster. He's the guy that got me into this industry as far as love for professional wrestling. So I'll never take that away from him. What he's done for our business, I'll never take that away from him. But I do think there's some responsibility that he needs to own up to that he hasn't yet. And maybe when he finally figures that out, might be able to move forward with our fans. So we'll see.
Okay, that was Seth Rollins, what he said on Good Morning Football about Hulk Hogan, and he deserves to be booed on the Netflix Raw debut episode. Now, Seth Rollins, this stuff happened over a month ago. Why? I know he was asked that question. Why did he have to go into depth about that? Why are we still on that subject? Everyone said what they had to say about Hulk Hogan, and Seth Rollins, my issue with him, he is a coon, a company man. He does whatever it does to make the company look good. That's what he does. He always does it, but he always try to slander somebody's name. Even back in 2021, he said about Hulk Hogan, he's always been nice to me. That doesn't make him a great human being. So he always had an issue with Hulk Hogan. He always had smoke with him. It just happened now. He always had an issue with them. He always represented Hulk Hogan, was an interview or an article. He always has something to say about him. And I know Seth Rollins, he always had something to mention about a superstar, whether it's him insulting Roman Reigns, on-screen character or not. He talks about CM Punk he just did recently with Chris Van Fleet. He always mentioned a superstar that's very popular, more popular than him. And from Seth Rollins, it comes from pure jealousy. And this is why I don't like Seth Rollins off these interviews. He always got to run his mouth. He always does this all the time. And it's irritating with Seth Rollins. He is a great performer. I said that before and I say it again. I'm not too fond of the character that he's doing right now, but he always got to run and talk garbage. If you guys remember back at Twitter, he always was going nuts back then, going tweets and just losing his mind. But he always, remember last year when Cody Rhodes was going to, pick what championship to choose for, Seth Rollins cut that promo on Raw last year suggesting that Cody should go after his title, not Roman's at the time, and he referenced Hulk Hogan again, if you guys remember.
The Hollywood title, the Hulk Hogan title, The one for posers and frauds, the title for people who politic their way to the top?
Yes, Seth, that's the title that Cody wanted, and that's what he went for, and that's what he won at WrestleMania 40. Yes, everybody wants to be a champion, but the popularity means a lot too. Wrestling is not just about, gaining a name, having good matches and being on the card. It is a popularity contest. That's how you make it in a wrestling business. You don't make it in a wrestling business by being just a good wrestler. You have to be a great wrestler, also have a popularity name. So yes, he's going to politic. Seth Rollins, let's not act like you didn't politic your way to the top. You just were not known as a major superstar in the names of a John Cena or a Roman Reigns or a CM Punk and now Cody Rhodes. So stop acting like he loves to grift and act like he's just one person, but he's somebody else. Seth Rollins, we know you're a Triple H guy. We know that the reason you're in the spot you're in right now, WWE, because you've always been a favorite, not just by Triple H, but also by Vince McMahon when he was running WWE years ago, up until when he retired in 2022. So Seth Rollins, you need to cut the crap, man. That's what it's about. And he always has to reference certain superstars or big names. He always has something to say. Seth Rollins, now he calmed down on Twitter or X, as far as that goes, but he always goes out of his way to mention a superstar's name. Now, this stuff with Hulk Hogan happened over a month ago. All he had to say was no comment. Didn't have to say much about it, but being Seth Rollins, the visionary that he is, he got to go ahead and go over the top and mention it. And I'm just tired of this with Seth Rollins. Every time I look up, he got to talk crap about superstar. Now, knowing being a company man that he does, that helps him. Next thing you know, if he knows what Seth Rollins does, that he gains a lot more popularity, more notoriety, and he gets involved in big stuff. I mean, let's cut it. Seth Rollins, you politicking right now just by doing that interview. You know that everybody is going against Hogan about what he did and got booed. Pat McAfee mocking him. Now you're talking garbage too. So you're being a good company, man. You're doing what you got to do, what's good for the company. So don't act like you didn't politic at all. Him politic, do what he got to do for the company, being on the right side of the company. It's gotten where he's at. Seth Rollins, I'll say it. He is a system player. Seth Rollins, I think if he had went to AEW, any other company, I wouldn't say he wouldn't succeed, but not to this length that he's at right now. Being a multiple-time world champion, being in major main events, going and having the best rivalries against the top names in the wrestling industry. I don't think you have that same success like you do at WWE if you were to go to another company, because you are all about the system. Seth Rollins was never a top merchandise seller like Cody Rhodes, like CM Punk, Roman Reigns, John Cena, not even Jey Uso, who's also top merchandise seller. And I know people going to say, well, Seth Rollins was a heel. He's been a babyface for the past, I want to say now, a good 3 years. And he's never sold not one t-shirt, any merchandise that's been at the top of the list. When we talk about merchandise sellers for the company, we talk about the Codys. We talk about Cena. We even talk about guys before that. Stone Cold Steve Austin, NWO, guys who've been out of the wrestling industry for years. They're still selling. Name me one time Seth Rollins for a long, and I'm not just talking about 1 month. Name me a certain period of time Seth Rollins was ever the top merchandise seller for the company. Don't worry, I'll wait. So this guy has some nerve saying that it's politicking and people deserve what they deserve. You deserve what you deserve, Seth Rollins. You're not no saint in this. You just happen to be with the right people on the right side to get where you at. So it's just always something. I know another time when Roman Reigns unified both the WWE Championship and the World Championship, he went on an interview with Ariel Helwani. He also mentioned then that I've always been number 2, never number 1. It's always Roman. He's always hating on superstars. This man has a history of doing this. He's always done that, if you guys remember that.
In the game, you're a husband now, you're a father now, you've accomplished it all, you've done so many great things. Why in the world does Seth Rollins have a chip on his shoulder?
I just feel like in some ways, I've never gotten my just due. There's always like, I've never been the guy, you know? I've never been the one on the marquee at WrestleMania. It was John, it was Roman. In some regards, when I was at Ring of Honor, it was Nigel or it was Bryan. And I was always the guy like on the come up or on the underneath, or I was kind of the second or the next big thing type thing, you know? And that always just eats at me. It eats at me so much. And so I don't know where that competitive spark comes from, but it drives me insane. And the thing is, if I was that guy, I don't know if it would just go away. I always would find some way to put the chip there. Like, it's just the way I operate best. You know, I like have to have it for some reason. In everything, for better or worse sometimes.
Kid, I am the damn mountaintop.
Now, that was Seth Rollins with an interview with Ariel Helwani. Now, that was back in September 2022, a little over 2 years ago. Now, he said he never felt his just due. He never was the guy because it was always someone above him, whether it was John Cena, Roman Reigns, and now it's Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. But he had no problem telling Austin Theory that he is the mountaintop. No, you're not the mountaintop. You would like to be the mountaintop, but you're not. I'm just tired of this dude, man. He always whining and complaining about what's not his. He always got to cry and whine. It's the same interview where he was complaining that Roman was held at both titles and he should have got the world title. This guy just whines and complains all of the time. This man does this time and time again. And this is what irritates me about this Seth Rollins dude. This is Seth Punk Rollins, not Seth freaking Rollins, Seth Punk Rollins it is. And that's all I had regarding with Seth Rollins correct about Hulk Hogan. He speaks truth on Hulk Hogan. You guys let me know what this politician crybaby dude thinks. Soon to videos will pop up, guys. You guys click the links below. You already know what it is. It's OUT.